This episode of Speak Now, Hold Your Peace is brought to you in part by Green Sister Botanicals, plant-based hair and body care. Visit greensister.com for your hair and body care needs.
She's good. She's good.
Every time there's a shooting, people are saying, we need more gun control law.
That's just human nature.
Welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace, a live broadcast with real conversations about community social issues, politics, business, health, self-care, and more. We broadcast live on the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace Facebook group and the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace YouTube channel. And now, here's your host, Say What I Feel, Dre.
Welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace. I'm Say What I Feel, Dre. Today I got two guests with me. I got two of my Shaw University fellow classmates, and when it's a Shaw U get together, it's gonna be powerful. You hear what I'm saying? It's just how it is. If you're watching and you went to St. Aug, you can tune in if you want. We'll show you how it's done. Yes, I'm taking shots at St. Aug. So enjoy yourself, sit back, relax. We are definitely going to give you some very important information. We're going to get rid of these myths, and we're going to get some understanding of vitiligo, and you're going to learn something. At the end of the show, near the end, I'm going to have a link for you to log in. It's going to be this link right here. This link, you can log in with that link, and then you can join the show. I'm only taking one person. We're going to have a quiz, and we're going to see what they've learned, and, just may have some fun with it, all right? So I want to welcome my guests. I have two guests. I have Brother Mark Braxton. Mr. Braxton, how you doing, sir?
Doing well, man. Can't complain. How are you, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad y'all here, man. I'm definitely glad you're here. And I got my man, Terrell Midgett. Terrell, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Dre? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm doing good. I got some people looking for me, man. I don't know who they are, but I got some people looking for me. One of them name is Blanton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Blanton.
Personal joke, y'all. Personal joke.
Hey, Blanton ain't gonna mess with nobody radio no more in life. He probably still had that code base put on top of his hat.
Yeah, that was a little personal thing for Shaw U days, when I was working with Mark, I'll tell you about that when we get off, man. But
all right, cool.
All right, yo, gentlemen, I'm glad that you made it on the show. And I'll tell my audience the same thing I told you, gentlemen. We're going to start out, we're going to cover some questions about vitiligo, and then we're going to get into some of the experiences that Mark and Terrell has had with vitiligo, and we're just going to learn from them and just soak up all the knowledge that they're going to give. So I want to get started. The first question I asked, and by the way, I did put something out prior to the show that I was doing a show on this particular topic. I asked for them to email me some questions if they had some. So I have some questions that were emailed to me that people want to know. Some of these questions we may say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't know this. But there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things people don't know. Even in grade school, the teacher asks for an answer and nobody raises their hand because nobody wants to be wrong. So they just keep their hand down. No difference here. No difference here. Some people don't want to ask these questions. Some people do. So I have the questions here. I'm going to mix them in with some of the questions I had. So let's get started. First question I want to ask Brother Braxton. What is vitiligo?
Vitiligo is a skin condition that basically takes your pigmentation away. If you can see my hands, I have in more than just my hands, but it takes your pigmentation away. And really the underlining factor for most people is an autoimmune disease. And with that, basically our body sees our immune systems, they see our pigmentation as the enemy, and it attacks. And there's no one vitiligo. Like if you look at one person with vitiligo and look at somebody else, it's totally different. Like you could put 30 people in a room, everybody's conditions are gonna look totally different. But
Right.
the one underlining thing, we all have vitiligo.
Right. Right. And I was doing a little research, and I was reading something where it says there's different types of vitiligo. Um,
Mm.
one of them was focal,
Right.
Focal,
segmental.
segmented,
Was it segmented?
universal.
Segmented. I'm sorry. It was, and another one. Start with an
Universal.
A. Acrofacial. That sound
Yeah.
familiar?
Yes.
And generalized, of course, and universal.
Generalized. Yep.
Universal.
Yes.
Are there those different types have a drastic difference in them?
I'm universal,
Okay.
so I pretty much lost all of my pigment.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and the crazy thing is that you can't really probably see now, but like I'm have little dots here and there, like looks like freckles.
Mhm.
So they come back and forth, but pretty much I've lost all my pigment.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
can anyone have vitiligo?
Yes.
Okay, because
Hey,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna add, yeah, vitiligo doesn't matter about your race. It doesn't matter about your gender. It doesn't matter about how much money you have in your pockets. It could affect anybody, anywhere across the country, no matter what age, young, old. So it doesn't discriminate.
Right. 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 And it doesn't, and people shouldn't either. That's
Right.
my thing. It doesn't discriminate. And people shouldn't either. That's just how I feel about it.
Right.
In terms of vitiligo, what parts of the body does it show up? What common areas does it show up on the body? And what are the areas that it's shown up for you when you first saw it?
Terrell, I'm gonna let you take that one, then I'll follow up.
When mine first started, it was probably at my fingertips. On the index finger, it was just missing some pigment. And as over a year or so, it just started taking over my whole hand, and started on my face, and just started moving throughout my body, and mine has been depigmented for probably like 35, 36 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Mark.
All right, and for myself, I guess like Terrell, starting on my hands. I really didn't pay attention to my fingertips, but I had a spot somewhere in my hand. It's been like 25 plus years, so I can't keep up now. But it was itching, and I just thought it was a mosquito bite, and I kept scratching, and I noticed a white spot, and then I started noticing spots throughout my body. Um, I have a lot on my feet. I'm not as flexible as I used to be, so I would show y'all my feet on the screen, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all. I might fall out my chair trying to put my foot up. But for myself, I don't have a lot on my face. I do have it around my mouth, um, and a little bit in my chin, a little spot here on my neck. Uh, it is gonna do what it's gonna do at this point, but mainly on my hands, my arms, torso, legs down to my feet. And I always tell people I'm spotted like a cheetah. So if you really want to know what it's like, that's it, like a cheetah. You look at a cheetah, it's everywhere.
Right. Right. Is there Terrell? Is there a cause? What causes vitiligo? Is that something that's
like
you know?
like he like Mark had said earlier, it's autoimmune
Mm-hmm.
deficiency. So it could be anything. Like some people have lupus, some people might have hepatitis. It could be any type of autoimmune. Um, so like with mine, we really don't know what's inside my body is fighting against causing me to lose pigment. Vitiligo could be hereditary. No one in my family has it. It's just I'm the chosen one.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that it's hereditary, or nobody else
Yeah.
has it in your family. Some I watched a video one time with the woman whose child had it, and
Mhm.
she was very upset, and she felt that it was her fault. No one in the family had it. She just felt that it was something that she ate, or something that
Mm.
between her and her husband. And I honestly think, like, it's not. I don't think. And correct me if I'm wrong. It's not someone because it doesn't happen because someone is doing something that they shouldn't be doing while they're pregnant or anything like that. Is it?
Now, now some could, I mean, it can come from various things. Some could be stress induced. It's just
Right.
whatever's going on. So, you know, we have a support community here in North Carolina, and pretty much every state has one.
Mm-hmm.
And within these communities, it's key that we all get together and have conversations, because in those conversations, intimate conversations, we may have a conversation and just be like, I think I was in one meeting and someone said that they got bit by a jellyfish while they was in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
Right.
then it may pop in my head, well, if you got bit by a jellyfish, I got bit by a jellyfish, and maybe it's something that jellyfish are carried. So then I go to the next person. Hey, have you ever been swimming and bit by a jellyfish? So being there's no cure, we're still in our minds trying to find an association
Right.
to what may have caused it. So that's why it's important that um, people that's has vitiligo, they communicate with someone, because there's no cure, and no one knows our body and what we deal with besides someone that deals with it.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to add a
Mm-hmm.
follow up, Dre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those things, like I talked to when I worked for the city, I went to Dr. Mask, and he was just like, um, sometimes there's something traumatic happen in your life. It could be a car accident, could be stress from school, could be somebody in your family died. So like Terrell said, there's no real answer to that. We're trying to figure it out. Now,
Hmm.
hereditary, yes. Now, I used to think I was the golden child of my family until last year. I had a conversation with my mother, and she said, I support, vitiligo awareness. And she showed me her legs. She has vitiligo. I never knew
Mm-hmm.
all these years. And to show you folks know my mom is only on her legs.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So in my family, it's hereditary. She said, well, I have a cousin that had vitiligo. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know all this stuff. And I think sometimes with families, we don't talk enough about these things. We kind of leave it alone. It becomes taboo to talk about it. We just move on with our normal lives. But I think the more we talk, the more we interact with other people in the community, the more information we get, a better understanding we'll have. But we still haven't quite figured out. And when I say we, meaning doctors, researchers, all those people, and people that live with vitiligo, we haven't quite pinned down why does it happen? Why does it start? You know,
Right.
and and
Right.
we're a small group, and people didn't see you know our struggles with living with vitiligo as something of great attention. So
Mm-hmm.
so there's not a lot of funding for research on where it comes from, or how to prevent it, or how to resolve it. So as you can see with COVID, nobody ever seen COVID before, but once that funding got involved, shoot, they
Yep.
found a
right.
vaccine for it.
Yep.
So
Quickly.
Very
Uh,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to a stage whereas that you know the doctors have done some great studies. Um, a lot of studies is taking a while for trials and to be approved from FDA and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we just trying to get to that point to get over the hump so we can get the proper funding so that we can you know, um, live a better quality life. Now, I don't hurt with vitiligo, you
right.
know, uh, physically.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mental anguish. Whereas that, um, like you know me from college. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been one to be out and mingle and move around pretty solid.
Right.
But to even get to the point to get out the house to do that um, was an
Right.
everyday chore. First thing when you get up in the morning, you get up, you may use the bathroom, and then you get in front of that mirror, and then you just like, damn, you know, um,
That mirror.
you got to face the world, and once you leave out that door, what the world has for you, and that's the importance of what we do, um, um, living with vitiligo.
Right. Right. And
And here,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
That's okay.
Here is something important too. A lot of times we hear people say, "Well, it's not that bad, or it doesn't look that bad on you, or you don't have as much." but you have to walk in a person's shoes to understand what it's like. Like Terrell said, to look in that mirror and you see your body changing,
Hmm.
whether it's a little or a lot, that one change. Because come on now, we look in the mirror and see a pimple, people freak out.
Yep.
Ooh, I got a
Right.
pimple. And they trying to, but
Right.
with this, your body's changing and you don't know what it's going to do.
Right.
And
Right.
then, with that changing, you don't know how the public's going to receive you, how your friends are going to receive you, how your family's going to receive you. But you still have to make moves and still live, but it's hard.
Right.
Right.
That's
Right.
that
Right.
challenge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a race. It's a race.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Might have you might have pictures coming up, and you trying to figure out, man, please don't let this thing move any faster while before I get this picture. Or
Right. Right.
might, close to your wedding date, you're trying to get it straightened out, and you trying to get
Mm-hmm.
everything together. Whereas, you know, um, you might trying to camouflage or hide some areas, and boom, it has a brain of its own, and that's just the thing is. I think um, people that's listening might not know, but I wore makeup for about 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I held on to my makeup for too long because I brought more attention to myself with it. But it gave me my cover. When I
Mm-hmm.
when I went out in public, I
Right.
didn't get as much stare with
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
But that's the things that we had to do just to be comfortable to walk out in the community. What I had to do,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and during the time that it was, that mine really started sprouting out and progressing. Nobody knew what vitiligo was.
Right.
I tried Poover, I tried everything to just slow it down or see what was going on. But I my family wasn't scared of me. But I was telling someone earlier that I had some friends and I went swimming with them and at their neighborhood pool. And when I got in, people got out because during that time nobody knew if vitiligo was contagious.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just people have learned over the years, but we're far from where we need to be.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. And I want to go back to when one of you were saying that, you're inside the house and you look in the mirror, but then you got to get ready for the world. And then there's people who say, not so much get over it, but just, it's easy to say, just pay him no mind or just like,
Right.
you can't say that until you're there. Like I would never say, I know how you, I'm real careful about saying,
Right.
I know how you feel because we
Right.
use that like as a second language. Yeah, I know how you feel. I feel you. I feel you. I don't feel you because I've never gone through that. So I can, who am I
Right.
to say, well, you need to get over it.
Yeah.
That's like a white person saying get over slavery.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
You'll
Right.
never know how it was because you're not black. You've
Right.
never experienced slavery. Same thing with vitiligo. You've never experienced it, so you can't tell me give me a timeline on when I should get over it or when I should
Right.
go
Right.
outside and stuff like that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want to go a little further back, Mark, when you said it's taboo. Like, families, we don't talk about it. And you know what the
Right.
crazy thing is I thought of when you said that? We have new family members, somebody has a baby comes out, hazel eyes. Oh, he got eyes just like such and such.
Mhm.
Oh, he got hair just like, oh, he smiled. Look at those hands. Look at those. He's got a tight grip just like his dad. Like, we talk about that stuff. And
Right.
vitiligo it's no different. It's just like, why? It shouldn't be taboo. It should be something that if it just needs to be talked about within the home, in the community.
Right.
And as far as the funding, man, like, I tell everybody, like, it's so important to vote local. You can't just vote at the top because
Right.
some of the things that most affect you is the local stuff, those local laws and those local
Right.
policies and stuff like that. Just for a quick example, we have a Democratic governor in Virginia, and I'm glad we do because if we had a Republican one, and I can't generalize it. I think if we had a Republican one, those strict guidelines, state guidelines, they wouldn't have been in place. So it was important. I'm glad we did vote locally and have, our governor take precautions. And it's the same for, when you're voting local, you need to vote for somebody who's going to do something for you. And
Right.
funding for vitiligo, it could start on a local level. But you gotta
Hmm.
you gotta have those people that's gonna back you. You gotta have those people in office to do it. I personally think it should be put at the top. I mean, we put too many things at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like it's and
it
I don't
it
want to,
it, it it really hadn't hit home to too many lawmakers. You
right,
know,
Right.
right,
it hits the African American community or the darker skin community.
hmm
Right.
And you better see it. So the Caucasian community, they have it, but you won't see it until the summertime.
right,
Right.
right,
So therefore, it's kind of hard for the lawmakers to understand um, the the mental, social side
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
And and that's why that we've been trying to push for understanding because Mark can tell you, man, we talk to countless people of
Right.
how to how to cope or how to live with vitiligo and it's stages like I don't really like approaching anybody about vitiligo because I know that it's hard for me to be out in the public and somebody walk up to me to ask me about it. So even if I know someone that has vitiligo, I kind of stand offish, and if they see me and they want to have a conversation, then we can have that conversation. But it's it's a hard it's a
Yeah.
hard life that people really don't understand, and once you get to the point you can embrace it, um, it doesn't go away, but you can manage it a lot better, and
Eh,
it takes a lot to get it
Yeah.
to embrace it. You know,
right, right.
I hit a stage where is that I would go out in public and you know um I become numb to the stares, when I was wearing my makeup, so it didn't bother me as much. But I embraced it. But somebody that loves you, it's hard for them to embrace it. Like me and my wife out in public, and we out for dinner, and somebody just taking pictures and stuff like that. That's harder for her to embrace. But I had got to a point where I got used to it. But it took a long time, like 20 years, 20 plus years before I even got
Yeah.
to that point.
Mm, wow.
One thing about excuse me, living with vitiligo, it puts you in this isolation. And I don't care how many people you know, how many people that you are affiliated with, you kind of feel like you're in this world by yourself. And Dre, I'm in the fraternity, Phi Beta
Right.
Sigma, what's up, frat?
All right. All right.
But
Who five?
I also, yeah, Blue Five, but I also was at a point where I felt isolated. I got my bros, but then I realized some bros are not comfortable because I've had that happen where I'm going to grip somebody and they kind of I could feel their body like, they were not comfortable with touching me. And I get it. I understand it. If you don't understand what vitiligo is, or you don't understand what's happening to my skin, you're going to feel some type of way. And what happened, it eats at you. Yeah, I'm gonna say it eats at your soul, to be honest.
Hmm.
That's why y'all didn't see me coming to homecoming a lot. I might show up and then I disappear because the longer you're standing in the presence of people and they're looking, yeah, oh, what's wrong with his hands? And it's those whispers that are loud. You know,
Hmm.
the looks that y'all might think you're just glancing. Oh, you take that look, but that look seems
Hmm.
like it lasts for 5 minutes, and five
Mm,
minutes seems like forever. So it's very hard on people that live at vitiligo. Um, Now Terrell said he noticed when my vitiligo started, and I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to hide it. And I
mm-hmm.
remember one of the frat made a comment. I was dating a young lady, and he said, I guess she must be stressing you out because look at your skin. And I'm laughing, but deep down inside, I'm like, you really
Yeah,
don't know what I'm
you
going through,
don't understand it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and I can laugh with you. Back then, I can laugh and joke and play it off, but when I get in the car to go home, I'm
Mhm.
feeling some type of way, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what the people don't see. They see you on the outside, oh, he making moves, or this person's doing this and that. They don't see when you go home and when you feel isolated, or when you're sitting there and you're contemplating, man, what's going on with my skin? What's happening? And you don't want to go anywhere.
Right. Right.
Honestly, if bros would have called me at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, hey, let's go to this party, let's go. I'll be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm tired.
Mm.
And I would use that. Nah, I had a long day at work. I'm good. I'm staying in the house. And it wasn't because I was tired. It was because I didn't want people to see what my skin looks like. Because if I'm wearing short sleeves, you can see it. It's all on my elbow. It's patchy and all that stuff. And and like I said, somebody might say, "Oh, it's not bad. It's okay." Like,
Right.
yeah, for you, because you don't have it. You don't have vitiligo, so you can say it all day.
Right. Right.
But now once I got to the point that I was comfortable, I reached out to this brother here, Terrell. I was like, Terrell, yo, you got a support group? I'm ready. And that was 2019. So
Mm.
Mhm.
imagine from like 1995, 96, dealing with this
Wow.
condition. And I finally got to the point in 2019 to say, you know what, I need some help. I need to see other people living with the same condition so I can get a better understanding. And just to get that love, it's a different type of love. And that's something I feel like the public will never understand unless you come to one of our meetings and interact. It's a whole community within itself, and there's so much love there because we all know what we're going through.
Right.
We
Yeah.
all
Right.
have been through.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
And I think as far as funding and stuff like that, it's not going to hit home for them until they have a daughter or a son that's being
Yeah.
Right,
teased or whatever,
right,
and then
It's-
it hits home, and that's
right.
unfortunately we have to wait for that, or wait for somebody to step up and say, look, we need some more funding for this.
Yeah, we
Pretty
we
much.
we're pushing hard, Dre. Like
Right.
I went to DC maybe about 4 years ago, and went on Capitol Hill to try to solicit the votes because there's a House Resolution 757
Mm.
that's out to for a National Day of Recognition, which will eventually bring funding towards vitiligo. And you ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness? I
Mm-hmm.
think it was Smith, and he used to go to every place. I mean, he was walking around with a little vacuum cleaner, and everybody kept closing the door. And those closed doors motivates me, and it's like my mind is just always rambling all the time. And what I see is, I see funding is going to happen, and I see us having, because between me and Mark, nobody's going to outwork us. You know what I'm saying? And I see us having probably the first, and I'm gonna speak it to existence,
Mm-hmm.
the
Speak it.
first school of dermatology, um, for vitiligo housed on the HBCU campus.
Wow.
We're gonna speak that to
We're going to
existence.
speak it. Yes.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
we're gonna get funding for that, and then we're gonna be at a HBCU, the first in the world to have a school of dermatology,
Wow.
and the focus is gonna be on vitiligo because it's our community that has to deal with the
Right.
the drawbacks from when we go out in public.
Right. Right. And I hope that first
Yep.
school is Shaw University. I honestly do.
Yeah,
Hope y'all listening, Shaw, you.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I'm a Shaw Bear for life, without a doubt. We're landlocked over there at the university, and between Shaw and St. Aug, I'm sure we can pull in some,
Oh yeah.
because St. Agnes was the first black school, medical school as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they still
Right.
have the shell. So we just got to figure out, how we could bridge the two schools, or if Shaw can find some land to put it on. But
Yeah.
I feel that needs to be done, um, on the HBCU, because it's me and Mark. It's a rare disease, but we both went to the same school,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
St. Augustine's University. They got three of them that I know of. Three ladies that have it over there. We have a few, a gentleman out of Virginia State, Perry
Mm-hmm.
Whaley's out of
Right.
Virginia State, and then a host of AKAs and Zetas,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
fraternities and sororities. Like, when we able to get a framework together, man, like the push has to be, um for it to make a change, man. I mean, and
Right.
and my drive has been, to 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 make this negative for me a positive, and that's just been
Right.
my fight.
Right. Right. Let me ask you this, because there's a couple of questions that I got earlier today. Um, you know, we are forever, and I'm guilty of it too. I'll if I'm experiencing some type of pain in the arm, right?
Mhm.
WebMD.com. Arm pain. Oh my goodness. I got this. I got endometriosis. What the heck is that? I got this. I got that. We don't know. We continue to guess until we finally go to the doctor. Now, with
Yeah.
someone with vitiligo, do you how do you get diagnosed with it? Do you go to the doctor when you start seeing certain spots, certain places, or how do you get diagnosed with it? What's the process?
Yeah, you go see a dermatologist. But I'm gonna say this, but do your research on your dermatologist.
Mm-hmm.
Ask within our community because they're all not built the same way. And not to throw any dermatologists out there, but there's one in particular in this state I would not recommend.
Mm.
Because I went to this dermatologist and it was not a good experience. It was kind of like this.
Yep. We lost him. Hold up. Just a second here. All right. Can you hear me, Mark? We can't hear you. Let's see here. Hold up.
Can you hear me, Dre?
I can hear you
Yeah.
now. Yep, we good.
I don't know what happened, but you know what? With anything, let's keep moving on. No, I don't know what the last thing you heard, but I
Okay.
said in this area, in North Carolina, there was a dermatologist that was not a very good dermatologist, like
Mm.
very impersonal, was not very helpful. It was kind of like, this is what you have, this is what it is. Here's some cream, you can try it. Bye.
Mm.
And so, on that note, like when you seek a dermatologist and you seek a doctor, talk to our community first to find out who's good, who's going to work with you, who understands vitiligo. Because we got to remember, not every dermatologist has studied vitiligo. They've studied something else.
Right.
They may
Right.
look about it. So on our end, we got to do research too.
Right. Right.
Right. Right.
Yep. Let me ask you this. Um, I've done a little research and just want to confirm. Some people with vitiligo, or maybe I don't know if it's a certain percentage, but they have. I was reading that they have a vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that's
with that said, we know the sun gives you vitamin D. Is there a risk, any health risk for someone with vitiligo to go out into the sun
skin
and
cancer.
and get a tan or just be out there to get the vitamin D?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
We're at high risk for skin cancer, so they don't recommend us to be in the sun without sunscreen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because
And I limit my time in the sun. So
mm-hmm. Right.
Mm.
Um.
I burn real easy. If I'm in there for long periods of time, like my skin will bubble up like bubbles,
wow.
like
Okay.
blisters.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I think a lot of people that's something interesting to know because even with just planning, like you having a cookout, you got family members who are
Right.
coming over and they may have vitiligo. You want to provide them with with some good accommodations because I wouldn't have thought about that and if I didn't do the research. So it's just something to know.
Right.
I want to talk about treatments now. Terrell, I think you mentioned this. I was reading an article where someone was saying they had some treatments. It was is it PUFA,
Poofa, yeah,
PUFA, and
yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah. So I took Poofa when I was in 10th grade. Um, it's a light box, like a tanning booth. So you take a pill by mouth,
Mm,
and for 24 hours, you have to wear these big block of sunglasses
mm,
when you go in the different areas for UV lights. So you just get in the skin box, and I mean with the light box, and they just charge you up for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It progressed longer and longer each time you go. So I did it for 3 times a week. So it was it was burning me. It was restoring my skin, but it burnt me up real bad. Where
right.
some days I couldn't even put on my socks, my shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and then my lips blistered up quite a bit. And I did Poofa for maybe about a year and a half, and
Okay.
then I I just discontinued it, man, because it was the reward definitely wouldn't be more than
The
the
risk.
sacrifice.
Okay, got you. Are there any
Now,
other? Is there any other? Who you want to say something, Mark?
yeah, I was just gonna say, with the treatments too for our listeners, they got to be careful. Let's say Facebook. If you type in vitiligo and find all these groups, Facebook will show an ad about other treatments, and you got to be careful because sometimes you got people that are offering you treatments. Oh, you got people offering cures for vitiligo, and sometimes in our desperation we fall for it. Oh yeah, there's a cure, but right now there's no cure. They're working on things. There are many treatments out there, and Terrell probably can tell you a little bit more about most of the treatments. I did the cream for maybe about 6 months to a year. I can't remember how long, but then I stopped because it wasn't doing anything. It was just like putting on lotion, and that's all I felt like it was. But um, what other treatments did you have, Terrell?
That's all I tried, man. It was just like I said, with Puva was all I did, man. And it was restoring slowly, man. But like I said, it just took away so much from me, getting out of school, playing basketball, hanging out with friends, and then I just think the big glasses was definitely something that was a turnoff for me, and that's all I had tried. Um, um, Dr. Harris in Massachusetts. Now they have, I think he has close to a cure, based on the stuff that he has shared um, in his exercises. I mean, he's just waiting on his clinicals and stuff like that. Um, but he has been probably the only one that has really impressed me with what he has. John Harris? He's probably the only one that has impressed me with what he has with his work.
Hmm. Wow.
Hmm.
Mark, I got
So
a question. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I just said we gonna pray that
Yeah.
he can get what he needs.
Okay. All right. And I hope so. Make sure we keep him in our prayers. I got a question for you, Mark. Mark, I think when you started taking your headphones off, it started echoing. I'm hearing like a lot of echoing. And
You got echo now?
yeah. So if you see what happens if you put your headphones on.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try to get the echo out.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on. Okay. All right. I think we're good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mark.
Okay, good.
I got a question for you. Now Now I know you're in that glorious, infamous Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. I know this. I know this.
Iota chapter. Yep.
Okay. So Iota, big shout out to Iota. Let me ask you this: for those who are in a fraternity with vitiligo, are you able to get tattoos?
I would say yes. I don't have any tattoos. I do have a brand, but I don't have tattoos. But I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's a question that somebody wanted to.
Now here's another response to that. Just keep in mind, if you get a tattoo to cover your vitiligo, your vitiligo could spread and is no longer in that same spot. So I think that's the only drawback.
Right, and that was my
another thing too, Dre, is usually if you get scars and stuff like that, it usually turns, my experience, it usually turns white.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah, with the vitiligo, I think tattoos depends on how you do it. I think it's probably cool with vitiligo.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would think so too. I would think so. Yeah.
Now I did tell my coworkers I wore my shorts for the first time to work in 2019, and I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some flames tattooed on my vitiligo." Tell me why flames? And so when I'm running with the kids, it look like I'm running really fast out there,
Right.
So you gotta have fun with it too, and that's
Right.
what. Let me say this: that's one thing about our community. when you get to a point of acceptance and truly, say, okay, I'm living with my vitiligo, you can joke with it. You can have fun with it, but you got to be at that level. But you also have to recognize that some people are not there yet, so you
Right.
got to be very careful when you interact with others and how you joke and what you say.
Yeah, and even and it's funny because you can say something funny about it, and people be like, "Should I laugh?" You
Right.
know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And you just being having fun with it, and they was like, "Well, I don't know if I should laugh." The same things, I've seen that in comedy, comedy shows. White people would sit there and be like, "I don't know if I should laugh at this or not," but it's just funny, and vice versa
Look,
too. Vice
look
versa too.
can I share a quick story? Like back in 2018, 2019, I was dating a young lady, and I wasn't quite there yet with my vitiligo. I knew something was coming, something was going to happen, some type of breakthrough. I just didn't know when. I used to wear these big sweaters,
Mm.
and with the sweater, I can pull the cuff down to hide my hands. And one day we're talking, and she just throws out there, she's like, "Why you like wearing those big what she called me, Mr. Rogers sweaters?" You know, I look, I can laugh about it now, but I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed off. I was like, "Look, you don't understand what I'm going through with my vitiligo. I'm trying to hide my hands and all this stuff." But she's like, "You still look like Mr. Rogers." And I was like, "You know what? Dang, I do." But I ain't gonna front. I still love my sweaters. I still rock them. But I wore them big to cover up, because I didn't want people to see my hands. Um, but I'm at a point now where I don't care. I'm gonna show the world. Um, but I still but let me not say that, because I still have my days where I struggle where shorts, jeans, 100 degrees. I can't put on my shorts today, so I'm rocking my jeans and sweating. So it's that struggle sometimes.
Right, right. Let me ask you this: are there any specific foods that you don't eat because of vitiligo?
Nah.
No.
And there's some foods I shouldn't be eating because I'm getting a pot belly, but nah, not because of vitiligo.
Yes.
uh, uh, no, but right now, only thing I say, I'll try to make sure I add water to my regimen, but even that gets challenging at times because you want to drink something else. And some people are health experts, and they'll tell you you can only eat this food because that's what's wrong with vitiligo, and your vitiligo will spread. But
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
until research says that I'm gonna keep eating Bojangles or whatever I want to eat,
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's funny because our grandmothers for years dating back, ginger ale fixed everything. Like
Yup.
oh grandma, my arm hurt. Go get you some ginger ale. Either
Let me
that
go get you some ginger ale.
or some other remedy. Put a steak on your arm. Go outside, count to 10,
Yep.
and turn to the east and hold up your hand for 30 seconds and come back in. You'll feel better. Just the different remedies.
Ginger
So
ale, water, and a nap.
right,
That
right.
was a miracle cure.
Yeah, that's like, because I'm like, man, like, is there anything? And I wondered that. I was like, somebody brought that up, and I'm like, I wonder if there's certain foods or anything like that. But for the most part, I've realized that, well, I kind of knew all along, but there's really, I mean, we eat the same, we like the same foods, we listen to the same music. It's just no different
Yep.
from, you know.
Let, let me can I say something on that?
Go ahead. We
All
lost
right.
Tyrell,
When
but
you
he gonna
see
come back.
somebody, he'll be back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll be back.
like I said, it's the devil trying to mess up this conversation.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
um, with our community, I'm gonna say this: you don't have to like our skin, you don't have to love our skin, but respect us as people, and
Right.
we're people just like everybody else. Like, we laugh, we cry, we have fun, we cut up. Like you said, we listen to music. I mean, I love my Wu Tang. When I get
Right.
off here, I'm gonna pop in my Wu Tang again.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, we're people just like everybody else. We got great people in our community. We got some not so great people in our community.
Right. Right.
Um, so we're just like everybody else. Our skin looks different, and that is the big difference. When you look at us, we stand out in the crowd. And like one of the guys in the community said, he said, we're made to stand out. Think about it. You walk in a room, who's going to get the attention?
Right.
You.
Right.
But you have to know how to work that attention. You got to know how to use it to your advantage. And I'm sitting there going like, right, right, right. And I find out when I talk with my hands a lot. I'm pointing, my hands are here in your face, and I'm like, I'm not hiding my hands anymore. I'm not doing that. So, and just to back it up a little bit, when you interact with our community, we're just like everybody else. We're no different.
Right,
We're
right,
cool people.
right. Absolutely. Yep. And I think there's no difference, people. Like no difference. And it's sad that some people think that there is. You know what I mean?
Well, uh, it, people are people. Let me put it that way. People are people, and anything that looks different, we fear
Right.
until we get understanding. And I think the understanding is very important.
Hmm.
Um, and I say in this age of technology, there should be no excuse.
Right.
All you
Right.
have to do is type in white patches on the skin, boom, vitiligo pops up. Read a little bit, get an understanding of it. We can't touch you and magically you turn white. We don't have powers like that,
Right. Right. Right.
Although kids think that, and I use that at work sometimes. Kids be like, "Hey, if you touch me, will I turn white?" And I'm thinking, man, how many high fives have I given you in the past 20 years? Not 20 years, I'm exaggerating, but
Right.
past
Right.
3 years.
Right.
But these are those things that we have to keep in mind. Like, we're not contagious
Right. Right.
at all. Let me say it again for our listeners. Vitiligo is not contagious. If you
Yes.
see somebody with vitiligo, you can shake our hands. You can hug us. If you want to get intimate with us and it's consensual, yeah, you can kiss us. All that. It's like, I mean, it's not contagious.
Right.
We
Right.
just look different.
Yep.
We might go on the dark, but hey, I
No,
say that a lot.
look,
Yeah.
no difference from eczema or
Yeah.
like freckles, a big ass head. Because some people got that's not people with
Yeah.
vitiligo. That's just some of my friends. You got that big
Right.
ass
Right.
head, and nobody talking about it. I'll talk about it. You got a big ass head, man. So I'm just joking, but
But that's on the real. Look,
you
let me and I mentioned that glow in the dark skin because I went laser tagging with some kids from camp a couple years ago, and I went to they got the little UV lights and all that stuff, and I was like, hold up, that's not fair, man. My skin glowing. I can't hide from it. They were like, there you go in the corner. But I
wow,
also thought it was cool because I'm looking at it like, oh, this is pretty cool. I glow in the
right,
dark.
right, right.
So you got to take those good moments with everything else, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you all this. I'm going to start with you, Terrell. What um what was your thought process before you came to Shaw? Were you worried about your
Yeah,
appearance? What
yeah,
what was
most
that
definitely.
like?
Yeah, I was, you know, everywhere everywhere I've been, even up to this point, it's always I go in areas of my comfort zone. So, I grew up in Raleigh, so Raleigh has always been my comfort zone. So now I'm leaving from everybody that I've been hanging with since I was in elementary and middle school and high school to step on campus of Shaw University, where it's another community within inside of Raleigh. And it was definitely a lot of hesitation. And but uh I had a cousin. I got a cousin that was on campus, which was Rodney Spruill. Um, so he brought me in up under his wing, and you know, he was at the time he was on the basketball team, and him and Chris Blanton, they kind of took care of me, and then probably the first week I was on campus, Big Phil was out there, and he was like, "Boy, look at them shoes you got on. You got some money." And so I think Big Phil started dancing for change out there. He was like, "You know what I'm saying?" So
Big-
just just laughing and hanging out with Phil, and then like Old Face. Old Face is like my brother for life because when Rodney and them, when they faded off, like Old Face has, well, Chris Red, I call him Old Face.
uh,
Yeah, Chris Red, he really took me up on his wing, um and it's just I needed that,
right,
because
right.
I was a fish way out of water.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hmm.
Let me ask you this. Mark, what was your experience like when you came to Shaw?
I didn't have vitiligo when I came to Shaw, so but yeah, I feel like my experience never changed. I was kind of sitting off to myself, watching everybody, observing who I can, who I wanted to be cool with, and not because you sit and observe, you see a lot. Um, but kind of going back, I knew Terrell from high school. And I don't think I knew your name, but I knew you through some other associations. And for a minute, I actually thought we went to the same high school because every time I turned around, Terrell was there. So, but you knew like Scooter and some other people, but
Yeah.
um, and I didn't know what vitiligo was. Um, but Terrell was the only person I knew with vitiligo
Mhm.
um, at the time. And can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So after graduation for me, and my vitiligo started. Honestly, I kind of felt like it was still only me. I was the only one living with this condition until I started thinking about it. Terrell has vitiligo. That's what it is. And to me, it was getting that knowledge to understand my skin, the changes I can go through, and and still I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to accept it. I wasn't ready to seek support groups. I was gonna try to battle it out as a man. You know how we do. I'm
Mhm.
good. I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm
yeah.
good. I'm good. And I really wasn't. And not until I asked Terrell in 2019. But like I said before, that's a long time ago, struggling with a condition.
Right.
Um, which I could have had help a long time ago had I just had that bravery to step out and say, "Hey, Terrell, can I talk to you?" You
Right.
know,
Right.
and because sometimes you think you're by yourself, nobody else knows, but there was Rodney.
Mhm.
Rodney's my frat brother.
Right.
It's my number one. I could have talked to Rodney about it, but
Number
I
one
wasn't.
rage of discipline.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. Um, and not only not ready, I was scared. I'm just gonna be honest. I was scared. Y'all listening on the line, yes, men get scared too. We
Yep.
have a lot of fear about stuff, but
Absolutely.
we hold things in.
Right. And that was my next question. Do you think mental health plays a part
Oh,
in one having vitiligo?
it can.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause- Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Um, we go through a lot. And I do feel like vitiligo and mental health is very important because what happens, um, sometimes we go through depression, which can be very severe. Um, we go through anxiety. I know I went through anxiety. I would go in stores and I would just feel this like this fear, and I would leave. I would put all my stuff, or I would give it to the cashier. I'm sorry, and I would have to leave. That's that anxiety. You become very emotional, which can come out in the form of anger or sensitivity. Spiritually, you start to question, question everything, and you might be sitting up in church, and but you still question, well, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? And then it's just all these things you deal with, and
Some some
it adds
PTSD.
extra stress on you. Yeah,
Right.
it is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. There's some
Wow.
PTSD. Like yeah, because like I was telling someone the other day, is it was hard to go to a gas pump, especially at a gas station. They had a lot of people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How people would take pictures or just approach you. And they won't approach them to say your CD or ask for change. Like they're approaching you to take pictures and be disrespectful. So
Right.
you know, a lot of
Mhm.
a
What
lot of
happened to
that.
you?
Right.
And I yeah, and I still had it. You've been burned.
Hmm.
All types of stuff. People asking questions, and I don't know how many people I done told. Yeah, I've been burned, just so I wouldn't have to keep the conversation going. But
Right. Right.
now I'm at a stage whereas that we can't tell the misconception of being burned. We have to tell what it is,
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
so
Right.
that we can educate folks on what vitiligo is, and so we can make people live in perfect harmony because you know um I live I live through a lot of hell,
Right.
trying to um when I finished college, I trying to find my career,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
hard to find a job, based on the way I was looking at how I felt.
Right.
um
Right.
um
That's a true thing, Terrell. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had makeup on, and kind of white hands and stuff like that, and it was nothing for me to get a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you hear you're overqualified,
Man.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so it took a while, man, and I was looking for jobs in obituaries. When somebody died, say if they were dying anywhere in the
Wow.
demographics from like 20 years old to 30 years old,
Mm.
I look up, see where they where were they working at. and I pull up to the job and say, I heard y'all hiring. They're like, how you figure that? Well, such and such just died. You know,
Wow.
Wow.
so
Wow.
Yeah.
I know you have an opening. So
Right.
you know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
have an edge, man, because you know, even if I didn't have, even if even if the job wasn't available, I just go just pull up in the morning and just see if they see my work ethic to see if they hire me. So I mean, I
Right.
went through a whole lot just to be able to just to survive it. But you know, it was God's plan because um those closed doors pushed me more into entrepreneurship,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
gave me a bigger platform and a bigger opportunity to do what I need to do for me and my
Right.
family.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Uh.
The worst experience I had though, going to a job. I like to paint. I like to draw. So I went up to this place in Briar Creek. They had a position available. I went in, and when I walked in, first the ladies, I walked up and they had the door locked and everything. I was like, okay, okay. I said, can they help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm here for the, interview. And they said, oh, okay. So you're Mark? I was like, yeah. And went to put my hand out to shake her hand, and she looked, and the look on her face was terror. Like I don't even want to say what I'm thinking on the air, but
Wow.
she gave me that look, and I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. So we interviewed. And I can tell in her voice she wasn't comfortable. Then I had to do an example painting for her. So as I'm painting, you have to look at my hands.
Mm.
And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is not good. You know, I can I can feel her energy, and it's not good. The way
Right.
she looked, the way she's talking, there's a tremble in her voice. She's not comfortable. And with her company, I know she wants somebody that she considers presentable teaching her classes.
Wow.
And she didn't even call me back. She didn't even say you didn't get the job. I'm like, wow, at least let me know that I didn't get it. But at
Right.
that point,
Right.
when I walked out, man, I felt so defeated.
Right.
Um, it was hard, and that's what people don't understand about our community. Mine's just on my hands. Imagine for people who have it on their faces,
Mm-hmm.
and going in for a job interview, and that person's trying to be courteous and kind, but you can sense, you can feel how they're feeling on the other end. They're not comfortable with your skin.
Right.
That
Hmm.
Right.
makes you feel uncomfortable with your own skin.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I would say that's a part of our mission, myself, Terrell, and our community, is to really get the understanding out there. We're people. It is just our skin. So you got to dig deeper and see what's beneath that skin, what's in the heart of that person.
Right. Right.
And we got to stop the ignorance, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Um, Gentlemen, before we go, I want to do a myth versus fact type of. It was a game. Was waiting for somebody to call, sign in, but they haven't. So we just going to do it ourselves. So let's go to
All
the
right.
myth versus facts. Okay.
All
Now
right.
we had a guest that was supposed to be here. No guest today. So we just
So,
say,
I'm gonna say they punked out, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Y'all got scared to talk to us on the air. We won't
Well,
bite.
well, yeah, exactly. It's just like, what's up? Like, we on the air. That's all. So, let me just change this up real quick. And all right. So look, we don't have a guest, so we just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna read some, and we'll just see if it's fact or myth. All right. All right. First
All right.
one. Vitiligo can spread from person to person.
Myth.
Myth.
He says myth. All right. Let's see. Myth. All right. And the answer is myth. That is correct. All right. That's good. So we're going to number 2 now. All right. Next one. Vitiligo only affects African Americans or people of color.
Myth.
Myth.
Myth it is.
Now
It,
you
it
could see it more in us than
yes.
people of color. But yeah.
Yeah.
Myth.
So just know that it affects more than just African Americans. All right. Vitiligo can be cured using various treatments. Fact or myth? Cured is the key word.
You're right.
Myth.
It's a myth right now. Yeah.
And I promise, I swear, I hope a year from now that I can take this out and say that's a fact.
Right.
And I honestly hope I can do that a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let me
Right.
say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead,
and
Terrell.
and it'd be a groundbreaking for a school of dermatology on the HBCU campus somewhere.
Absolutely,
So
brother.
you know that's right.
Absolutely.
And people got to realize a treatment is to treat it, it's not to cure it. That's the
Right.
difference.
Right. Yep.
Right,
That's
right.
right. All right. Got two more. Michael Jackson is the most famous person with, well, was the most famous person with vitiligo.
That's a fact.
And he says, fact.
He said, hee hee. But let me say something about this, because back in the days, we all thought the same thing. I think we all were kind of ignorant because we were like, "Oh, he don't bleach his skin. Look at him, he
That,
trying to
yeah,
be a white
yep.
lady, and
Yep.
he looked like Skeletor." But then not realizing this dude had vitiligo.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing I often wonder, and I don't know if anybody has an answer for this: did he wear the glove because he had vitiligo on just one
Ah,
hand?
good point.
Exactly.
That's a good
From
point.
he started a trend and a fashion statement,
Right,
That's
and
right,
right.
and it went crazy off of what he was battling with.
Right.
right.
Ain't that
Yeah,
Absolutely.
something? Wow.
yeah,
We didn't even know it.
yeah. Then you look at whenever you see them videos and and the mask and stuff that he was wearing. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
see, Mike went through depigmentation, so he put the cream on to depigment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
so during those times, he kept a mask on, he kept his face covered.
Yep.
Right.
And we just thought, oh, Michael Jackson crazy. Look at him. He
Yeah,
doing something else. But
Yep.
yeah,
but not understanding his struggle.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And-
Yep.
but but let's go back to the pain and the endurance of someone dealing
Right,
with vitiligo. This is a man who had everything. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
Yep.
And he took pain pills and pills to calm his anxieties and everything else because of what he was dealing with emotionally and mentally.
Right.
You know, and had we been 30 years to now and Mike coming out and he has vitiligo, man, can you imagine what this movement would be right
It
now?
would have. Yeah. Yep.
A-
Yep.
And
Yeah.
let me add something to this. Something is just dawning on me now. I know a lot of times we joke about Michael Jackson and his friendships with children,
Mhm.
but working in the school system with elementary school kids have a better understanding of what you're going through and acceptance than adults. So I
Yeah.
get it now why he had friendships with kids, because they didn't judge him.
Right.
It's the
Right.
adults that sit there, judge, crack jokes, make fun of you. Oh, ill. Kids want to know, what is it?
Right.
Does it hurt?
And they'll
You
sure
know?
ask. They'll
Yeah,
ask you
yeah.
too.
And then
But
after that, they're fine.
Yep.
but if
Yep.
but if Michael Jackson was the one to embrace vitiligo, everybody in the world right now would want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You know what? And it definitely be more awareness to it. I know that. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because like you know, I mean, I was a Mike fan. Like
Yeah.
if Billie
Yeah.
Jean come on right now, shoot,
I'm
I'm
getting up too. I'm a
Yep.
moonwalk my behind right over to it. There, going over from one
yeah,
wall to the other,
yeah,
and go drink a Pepsi. uh,
yeah.
well, let's get this last one in here. Only 1% of the world's population has vitiligo. Fact or myth?
Currently,
That-
that's probably it. Might be. It's fact now. It's close. It's fact.
All
it's
right.
fact, but the numbers probably
It's going up
higher,
now.
Right.
different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I do believe. I think that study. It was a while back. It was like some years ago, like 30 years, 20 or 30 years ago or something that they got this number. So I think it's probably more. But in the same, we don't have the official number or anything. So I think it's true. Yeah, I think it's a fact. Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on, man. This was some good conversation right here, man. It was great. I enjoyed it. Mark, I just want you to tell me what you got going on and tell me about the organization.
Okay. So I am one of the leaders for the North Carolina Vitiligo Support Community that's under VitFriends, and which is also under my vitiligo team.
Mhm.
And with our community, we reach out to others within our community just to give them that support, that care, that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that camaraderie that we all need. With VidFriends, we are a national organization, and I'm part of that podcast team. So I also host a podcast throughout the month. I have one coming up in 2 weeks. So we're just doing a lot of great things within the community. My Vitiligo team is a much larger organization that took us under our wings. So um, they are sponsoring our podcast, and then there's the Global Vitiligo Foundation, which works with all of our organizations. And we do have our conference coming up, which will be virtual this year on June 26th. And we also have myself, Terrell, and a couple other brothers within the community. We just started the Vitiligo Brotherhood Alliance, which is a group of men within our community, no affiliation to any groups. We're together, working together to bring I'm gonna put it this way: are we our brothers' keepers? Yes, we are, and we are here to work with the other men. And we're gonna have a summit in March of next year in Atlanta, just so we can really pull our men together, those who are struggling and those who are not struggling with their vitiligo, just to really get that support and bring that brotherhood together.
Right,
And I'm gonna
right.
throw it over to Terrell.
All right, brother Terrell, what you got going on, brother?
Just the fight, the daily fight, man. Bringing awareness, just trying to, you know, uh, just kind of tell my story of what I've dealt with for the last 35 years. But in telling my story, I created this art exhibit. It's the only one in the world of just only about vitiligo. So in the exhibit, I have pictures of people that has vitiligo, and each picture tells a story of that person's journey. So that was my way of you know um, bringing awareness. A lot of times when I went out different places, people ask, "Well, what have you done? What can you say you've done?" And now I have a portfolio of telling people I've done something that's never been done before, and so I'm um building bridges and paving ways.
Okay. All right. And don't forget, this event is June 25th from 6 to
Mhm.
8, and it's free. It's free admission. So
Yep.
there's no
Free,
excuses. Free admission. It's free.
right?
So
So make sure
and,
you make it out there if you're local.
yeah,
Make sure just check it out. Well, you could just check
yeah,
it out.
and it's a traveling exhibit as well, so it'll
Okay.
be going to different cities as well. So we'll
Okay.
keep people posted.
All right. And let me know, because I'm going to put all these resources on the website, Speak Now,
Awesome.
Hold Your Peace website. I usually do it before the show. I got caught up with doing some stuff, so it will go on there tonight. You'll be able to view it and get all the information that we just gave you. And that's going to be it, man. Gentlemen, I thank you for coming through, man. I appreciate y'all, and keep me in the loop. You're more than welcome to come back on if you have any ideas about doing another podcast, show about vitiligo. I'm down, man. I'm
Just don't
down.
let Johnny the radio, man. That's all.
He not gonna find me, man. I'm gonna lay low. I'm gonna lay low. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all. Terrell and Mark, stay on the line. We just gonna do our intro out and then just stay on the line. All right, we out here, y'all. Y'all take it easy. We
All
out.
right.
Peace.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Thank you for watching the Speak Now Hold Your Peace live broadcast. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and join us on the Speak Now Hold Your Peace Facebook group.